As an accountant, one of the questions that I always get involved in, whether I choose to be involved in or not, is really helping people grow their business. I think that if you have an accountant, it is in our best interest to make sure that our clients are successful, and we get looped into a lot of situations with clients, whether it's lawsuits, and we get looped into lawsuits, expert witness, divorces, clients selling their businesses, clients starting up their businesses, partnership agreements. We get involved in audits, workers' comp audits, EDD audits, IRS audits, sales tax audits. So accountants are involved in a lot of things. So one of the things that I always try to tell my business owners is get some order around your business. If you started your business from scratch, like I started my business on the kitchen table of my home, to where it is now, I have 18 employees, and a lot of times we have a trade and we don't understand what's required to really have all of our ducks in a row to run our business and to be prepared when IRS or these audits knock on our door. So one of the things I thought I would share with you guys this morning is a roadmap, and I'll actually pass it out so you guys can keep it, is a roadmap of the minimum type of stuff that you need to have in your business to try to keep you out of hot water. And even more importantly, if you want your business to continue, if you ever want to sell your business, Mark can tell you some of the things that I'm going to share with you today are going to be important for you to have in order. So with that, I'll just kind of move forward. All businesses should have an organizational board, an org chart. An org chart in a business literally talks about every single department. You know, some days I think to myself, how did Apple become Apple and have all these different departments? Sales department, marketing department, personnel. Where did it start? It started in what we call the executive division, Division 7, where you guys right now, whether you're one person in your organization or multiple people in your organization, you guys purely are the executive division of your organization. You're blamed for everything that goes on in your company. So you are the office of the founder, the owner. This is where all the legal matters should take place. If you have your corporation, your minutes, your tax preparation, everything should be happening at the executive division. And if you have a corporation, you may sit as the chief executive officer. I'm a corporation, so I sit as the chief executive officer of my corporation. So it does start with you as the individual. So you are now responsible for what goes on in your business. The next thing you should have is your communication division. That's where you have your personnel. I get this question all the time, Karla, can I hire this person under the table? Can I not pay them? Can I not pay them on a W-2? That person believes that they're working for you, right? In their mind, they're an employee. So when you have employees, you have to deal with certain things like the workers' comp, employment development department, all of these different items. And that individual may leave you, go work for somebody else, get laid off, file for unemployment, and then it's going to trickle back down to you when they list you as a worker. So you need to make sure that you are keeping your personnel records and your communications with these employees. This department is also where you should have your inspection and reports. So what type of report should you be looking at as a business owner? Do you just look at your profit and loss? Do you have some type of metrics to know whether or not you're doing a good job? For example, maybe a dental office may have the number of patients that they are seeing on a weekly basis. What is that thing in your business that you want to track to know if your business is doing well? And it's not just cash flow. I will tell you that right now. If you're just looking at the cash in your bank, then you don't really know whether or not your business is doing well. And that's a conversation that we can have. But I would say make certain that you know you should be looking at this and work on every little aspect of your business. This is how you grow your company to be more than just you. The very next thing that you should look at is the dissemination division. This is where your marketing goes on. I have a marketing department. We have 3 people in our marketing promotions department. We write books. We do all sorts of publications. I have been recently contacted by a very prominent magazine where they want me to do a full article and give me a byline, a picture, and so forth. And so I'll put that through my marketing department to make sure that we have one message that's going out. What is the message that our brand represents as a company? So we want to make sure that that's consistent. This is also the department where you want to get clients in this particular department. It's the dissemination department. You want to track all of this information. Keep track of your sales. Oftentimes, clients cannot even tell me how much money they made. They have no idea of how much money they've made. And I know you laugh, but they'll say, oh, well, I think I made X, Y, and Z. And they literally don't have a clue. So I will say to you, it's so important to track how much money you make. Really, really key. The next department is Treasury, right? Treasury is where you should keep track of your income, disbursements, your bills you pay. We're in a time where we're paying everything electronically, right? Are you guys keeping those receipts? No, they're in your emails. They're in your emails. But if IRS comes knocking on your door, you may not have access to those emails. So get your receipts and start printing those receipts right now. I know you don't want to be in a paper society, but I am telling you, IRS is not in an electronic society, nor is any of the other major organizations. State Board of Equalization is not in an electronic society. So if you have a resale license, you need to make sure that you're keeping your paperwork. Track that stuff. Your assets. What are the assets that you have in your business? Does your business have a balance sheet? That's very important. If you were to go to sell your business and we need to look at kind of like the value of your business, do you have assets? And what are those assets? Are they listed on your balance sheet? I dealt with a scenario where a client was buying a restaurant and they said, Karla, we want you to do a review of this particular business. The business said it was worth X, Y, and Z. I said, okay. I go, let me see their balance sheet and their assets. Oh, well, we don't have any of our equipment listed on our balance sheet. Well, why not? So these are things that can undermine you as a business owner if you're not tracking that, and devalue your business if you don't have the right records. If I were going to go purchase a business and if I couldn't put my hand on the right records, I would definitely lowball that business if I were going to purchase that business. On the flip side of the coin, if somebody was going to buy my business and they couldn't see clear records, do you think that they're going to want to pay me my asking price? No, they're not. So records are very important. Very, very important. And I think a lot of us are sitting on a gold mine. There's this book called 3 Feet from Gold. I'm big on books. It's called 3 Feet from Gold. You guys should read it. A lot of us are sitting on a gold mine and don't know it because we don't have our business house in order. Division 4, your products division. This is where the work gets done, your activities. What are you doing? The thing that I will tell you about your product division, do you have a process around what you do? If all of your process is in your brain, can you sell your business?
Nope.
You cannot. That process needs to be dumped on paper. And I know you may think that, well, like, what is she exactly talking about? And I will tell you, in my office, I have everything we do, our process is written down. Everything we do, for a couple of reasons. Number one, because I want my business to continue beyond me. Number two, if I want my clients to all get the same experience. That's the second reason. And the third reason is, if ever there was a chance that that business needed to be sold, I want to make sure the person that steps into it has good systems and process in place. The very best replica you can use for process is McDonald's. That's the best replica you can use for process. McDonald's has process on point. And that's something I will tell you to think about in your business. What is your process? What do you do? How do you do it? And you probably have it. It's probably just not documented anywhere. So something for you to consider. The second division is Division 5. Once those products and things are done, what is your quality control? What is your review of that? How do you make sure that what goes out of your business is on point? If Karla Dennis is not looking down at that paperwork, how do I know what's going on in my office is accurate? right? I have quality control in place in the business to make sure that it's accurate and things that need to be done. I also have quality control over the employees. They get different certifications and different rewards. That happens in Division 5 to make sure that we are moving forward as a company and growing our company. And then as we move forward, we have Division 6. Division 6 is your distribution division, and this is where you get feedback from your customers. Do you get referrals from your customers? Do you get rewards out in the community? Are you out in the community doing work? When I first started to build my business, one of the things that I did, I joined my local chamber of commerce and I volunteered in the community to get my name out. People want to do business with businesses that do good in the community. So doing good in the community, I still do that. Right now we're doing a backpack school supply drive for the local schools in the community. I think that type of stuff is important. But if you want to get goodwill out for your business and really free advertisement, volunteer to do something under your business name and you're going to be listed in newspapers. A lot of times that stuff is on the news. Your cities will promote you and get you some free advertising for doing that. So the thing that I just want to take away today, you guys are all sitting on great businesses. The majority of your time, I know as a business owner, is probably spent in sales and marketing. That's what we do as business owners. And then doing our craft, whether it's me being an accountant, you being a financial person, an attorney, we're either in sales and marketing or we're working on our craft. If we take the time to develop the other areas of the business, we can really develop a business that can continue beyond us and be an ongoing concern and have value for you at some point. So I'm going to open it up if anybody has any questions. Yes?
So I'm like the perfect example of everything opposite of what you just said. So I'm like a one-man band.
You're a one-man show.
Karla knows my business because she took a look at it this last year. So it's hard for me as one guy to be all of what you just said.
Awesome.
So do you have to have like someone, or like how is a guy like me to implement?
I'm so glad you asked that question because I was a one-man girl at some point, right? So what I started to do, I took a half a day a week to work on my business.
Right.
Like I stepped out of the accountant hat and I literally started doing things to work on my business, working on my processes, working on to make sure I have my personnel records done. I gradually started doing that. And what I also did was, and as much as I'm a tech person, I'm a very layman person. I like simplicity. I got 7 little notebooks and I wrote on the front of each notebook, literally, on the front of the first notebook, I wrote Division 7. The next notebook, Division 1. And I started to develop a little bit for each department to grow that. That's how I did it. Just worked on a little bit at a time. And then as you start to develop it, on board your first assistant, your first employee, you will continue to develop that type of stuff. But just start somewhere as a one-man person. Whether you can put in 2 hours a week, just do something and it will get there. Now in my practice, I pretty much do this in my practice on a full-time basis because I've grown my business to where I have other licensed professionals who do a lot of the work in the production type of work. I do kick in tax season. I kick in on the larger cases, but for the most part, I sit purely in the CEO role of my company. I love going out and speak. I love the marketing, the visionary type of work. But it has always been my goal to build a company that can outlive me. Any other questions? And I'm happy to help anybody that wants to walk down that road. I'm telling you, you will see. You don't think that. You go, I'm a one-man show right now. But you could obviously become a broker. You can have realtors underneath you. I know you have beautiful daughters. I don't know what the vision is for them. But the vision for me was that my sons would ultimately come into the practice. That wasn't their vision in the beginning. But once they saw the vision, they came into the vision. So I always set it up. Either that was the vision or I was going to sell it. But I wanted to make sure that it was sellable.
Okay, that's good.
Do you do and have time for consultation to businesses that are just getting started?
Yes, I do. I do a lot of, and that's what I love more than anything. I love to help businesses get off the ground. I bootstrapped my business from $1, right?
Yeah.
I never took loans, never took any money, never had partners, never had any help, but I love to help business owners grow. That is one thing that I really like to do. Any other questions?
I always like to ask, what should we look for when we're trying to refer you? Like what kind of scenarios or people are a good fit?
Yeah, business owners are a great fit. Business owners are absolutely a great fit for me because when I'm working with a business owner, ultimately I'll probably end up doing their accounting, I'll probably end up doing their taxes, but just anybody that owns a business and they're looking to grow their business, I can have a conversation with them.
Right.
Typically the conversation is going to center around what are their goals and objectives. Once they tell me their goals and objectives, I need to benchmark where they are right now. So I'm going to look at their finances to see where they are right now. Typically we'll pick up the accounting from that. But you can't really approach people and say, hey, how's your tax return going, right? That's not the conversation. You got to catch people at what's important to a business owner. And what's important to a business owner is putting their money in their pocket and being able to grow. That's what's important in a business owner. So that's where we engage in that conversation.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And so you're like industry agnostic, like
Anybody.
It could be construction.
It could be construction. It could be any type of industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really good with mortgage lenders.
Yeah. Mortgage people, real estate people. I've worked the gamut. I was very fortunate. I've got a lot of experience in a lot of different areas at a very young age. I know the oil and gas industry, the auto industry. I've had a little bit of everything. When you do taxes, you get to see a lot. Like you get to see into people's finances. And so it's just really an interesting position to be in. Insurance industry. I have dentists, chiropractors, realtors. All right. Anything else? All right. I am going to pass this out. Please feel free to take it. You can look over it. You might have to use a magnifying glass, but it's just kind of what I talked about, summarized, so you guys can have a copy of it. Thank you guys so much. Yep.